Okay, I'm going to share. Okay, could you please confirm that you see my slides?
Yeah, we can see.
Yes, it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, great. So my turn, Nima Shannon, I'm a project manager in Linksium, and here's a quick overview of our services. So Linksium works for fostering the ambition for startups. Linksium is what we call a technology transfer acceleration company. So we are in Grenoble, but we work in all the Rhône-Alpes region. We are part of a network of 13 SATT, which means Tech Transfer Acceleration Company. And we were created by the innovation policies of the French state. And this is the reason why we were given an investment grant to coach and to help for the success of our startups. And it's about 57 million euros for 10 years. And Linksium then is the name of the SATT of Grenoble. So our mission statement is basically to intensify tech transfer. Tech transfer is the process that consists in helping technologies from the lab to access the market. But we also support high growth potential companies creation, which is a way to make tech transfer in order to accelerate innovation. Our shareholders are from public research and universities. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear. I can hear you.
Okay, yes. there was a big, I don't know, there was an error. Okay, so our shareholders are from public research and universities. So here are they. You can identify them, and there is also BPI France, which is a financing partner for each company in France. So our DNA is deep tech innovation from a research lab. So what do we do? Well, we have 4 main jobs. The first one is what we call technology maturation. The maturation is the step when we support the lab team to move early stage technology to proof of concept or prototypes with the hope of attracting potential licensees. Well, the job of the researcher is now to be a specialist of marketing and business. So we are here to help him to understand what would be the application of of their technologies. Then comes the incubation phase. In this phase, we support the entrepreneurs to develop their ventures. So in maturation, we coach researchers. In incubation, we coach entrepreneurs. Sometimes researchers want to become entrepreneurs, but it's not the majority of cases. We have also a job of licensing out to startup or to existing companies. It depends on our project and the main the best strategy we chose. And then we have a job of investment in venture capital, taking a minority equity participation in the ventures as co-founders. Linksium works since 2015. It's about 5 years of this activity. And here are some key figures to understand our activity. It's been more than 180 projects funded and accompanied that enable to incorporate 53 new ventures. And the rhythm per year is about 10 to 15 new startups per year. So there are many teams, of course, to lead those projects, and there are many investments made by Linksium in those projects. It's about 41 million euros invested for those projects, and many of them they are really deep tech projects, have patents to protect the innovation. And as I said before, our DNA is working with labs, and it's more than 50 labs that are working with us on those projects, and there are many more to discover. Linksium, so our DNA is research labs. I have the same era, I don't know why. I can't, okay then. Our portfolio is well, quite a generalist portfolio. We have projects in life sciences like biotech, medtech, energy, environment, but also digital with software, electronics, material, chemics process, but also some projects in humanities that can have very interesting, innovative methods. Of course, this work, as my colleagues said, this work is possible with all the ecosystem of Grenoble, which is really, well, really complete, and each actor has its role to play at a different step or for different aspects. So we are really lucky, Linksium, to be part of this ecosystem. Now, how we work on those projects? Well, we have 6 main pillars in our program. There are 2 pillars that are really, well, compulsory for Linksium is technology and market, but we also work on communication, team, finance, and IP. Basically, our program is made of 2 main steps, which is maturation and incubation, and each one lasts about 12 to 18 months, and we invest in a complete project about 300,000 euros. And the majority of our projects come from the labs and will become a startup. Our program is a tailor-made accompanying program, compounded by 14 levels of services. There are many, well, types, kinds of services. Human services like mentoring or training program. So mentoring is individual and made by a coach. Our training program is collective and made with many days a year, about 60 modules a year to get skills really necessary for creating a deep tech startup. But we also have tools to know you and to know what are your motivation to build your team or to find the best service provider you would need on your startup. We also have funding envelopes like maturation, which consists in working with the lab to develop the technology, but from an application point of view. But also repayable grant, it's about 80,000 euros that you can use to develop your technology, but also your communication, to make market studies, etc. And of course, we prepare our startup to follow the success. For example, with the VC connection, and as Claire Chantrel from Tarmac said, we are really complementary, and many startups from Linksium then go to Tarmac to follow their adventure with new skills, which correspond more on their need at this step. Here is the overview of our services, and there are some examples of the startup we help to incorporate in Grenoble. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nora. Elena?
Yeah, all of you was very, very interesting and insightful, and thank you for your time. It was really great for us, especially if we have the idea of starting our own company. I think that gives us a great insight. Thank you very much. So now I would like to open the Q&A session. So if you have any questions or you just want to discuss something, you can type in the comments or in the chat, or you just raise your hand and I'll call you, and you can also turn on your video so that we also see you. That would be very nice. So yeah. Yeah, Andrea?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for your time, and they were very interesting presentations overall. I was really interested. I just have one question about the selection process. I know you talked about the incubation process, but how does one, if you have an idea or an opportunity, how do you go? How can we come to you? Is there a portal in which we can submit our ideas?
The question is for who?
I think for everyone applies, right?
Okay, I can start if you want from the Linksium point of view. So we can, yes, we select project, of course, but we select projects, not ideas. So we need the entrepreneurs to, well, to build a project with their intuition at least, and after checking some, I don't know, insights from the market. And in our case, as our DNA is the connection with the labs, we will really quickly see if there is a need of innovation from a lab and its feasibility. And well, if it seems interesting for entrepreneurs and for us, then we build a project that we present to our investment committee.
And at Tarmac, we also have a selection process. So we meet each entrepreneur that could be interested to come to Tarmac, and we take a long time to examine the project with him and to see if it's the right time to come to Tarmac, because if it's too early, perhaps we will redirect him to another partner on the ecosystem. And if it's too late, perhaps there are some other solutions, but if it's okay, we have an application form, which is not very complicated and very standard. And after we have a selection committee, and each project has 10 minutes to pitch, 10 minutes for questions and answers.
And for Moonshot Lab, it's basically the same. We've got also a selection process. You can submit your ideas on our website, and it's basically the same. So we meet with the entrepreneurs on site or in virtual to see their motivation, to see their projects, and maybe to help them already with it before the effective selection. So we will check several criteria. Mostly the motivation of the team, and the project can evolve and everything is flexible. So we will try to help at every stage, and including at the selection phase. We basically apply the same selection that we are applying at our own projects for the external projects.
Okay, and at which stage should the startup be for you as Moonshot?
For Moonshot, it can be really early. Basically, at the start, we are asking a little bit of market prospection, start of a business model, just really the early stage of the startup, because we are here to incubate and to help the entrepreneurs succeed. So we are really early stage to help the ideas thrive. So basically, if you have a project, you have worked on it for, let's say, several months, you have an idea of the business model, you have an idea of business planning or the value propositions, you can start and say how to send the project to us, and we'll sit together for further steps.
Okay, thank you. Patrick, you have a question?
Yeah, I have maybe 3 questions. Okay, if you go ahead, the first question I will have will be for Tarmac and Moonshot Labs. I would like to know, please, what is the cost of your incubation programs? If I join your programs today, what does it cost to me?
So at Tarmac, you have 2 kinds of costs. The cost for hosting, because we don't own the building, so a full equipped office, a 10 square meter full equipped office for 2 persons, which is the good thing to start. It costs on the first year 150 euros by month, but all included.
Okay.
And for the booster program, it will cost you around 60 euros by month.
Okay, thank you. And please, for Moncho Labs.
Yeah. So basically, this is quite a hard question this time because we are, Lucy said it, in the process of having our own investment fund. So it means we will be backed up very soon by an investment fund that will help us with people that want to invest in France on technologies. They'll be able to put their money in this fund that will be called Moonshot Invest One, where the fund will help us also selecting the applications, and where in fact everything will be paid by the investment fund. Of course, if you think about it, then there are two kinds of projects inside Moonshot. There are the one that we own, internal projects. So let's not consider them for today. And there are external projects. So people having an idea and coming to us for an incubation process. So basically, we will do the incubation, and there will be kind of a fee, but usually it's through equity.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. My last question, it is for Claire. Please, I would like, Claire, you talk about the French Tech ticket visa. I would like to know, for international students here in Grenoble who have sometimes an issue with visas, if they want to launch their own venture, do you have some processes to support them with the visa application?
So it's yes and no. Yes, because French Tech visa, it's a visa for entrepreneurs who want to create an innovative companies, and this particular visa, you need to come through a labelized incubator that validate that your project is innovative, and after we send it to the French government that will give the entrepreneurs a letter and after the entrepreneurs comes with this letter to the embassy or the prefecture to have his visa delivered.
Okay.
And normally it must be quicker than the traditional process, but it's a French administration, so between the theory and the practice, it takes a little time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Patrick, for your questions. Felipe?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, that kind of answer. It was a question for Moonshot. So I was thinking actually, like, you should call yourself like a studio, like basically from what I know from studios, basically they create ideas starting from a need. And you just say like you also develop your own startups internally, but I was wondering if someone comes with only needs and want to make up some ideas, basically, will you welcome him in your programs? I was wondering.
Sorry, it was a little bit hashed. Can you repeat just the question? I'm not sure I've heard everything.
To put simply, my question is, if someone external from your organization came with like a need or problem identified, will it be welcome by your organization to be incubated, or does he have an idea already in mind, you know?
So what you're asking is if there are two options, if I can come with an idea and will you back me, and will you be at my side to help you and start the project? And the second one is, if I do not have an idea, can I also apply to one of your startups to be one of the co-founders of your startup?
Yeah, but basically it's more focused on the second one. It's just to know if you act like as a studio and welcome, you know, like people who just want to become entrepreneurs, but you know, just identify some problems and maybe want to to make some research, but then startup basically?
So that's a very good question. Thank you for it. So basically, when we do incubate a company, it starts from an idea. Then we back the idea with all the resources that we have internally. The project get mature and mature. Sometimes we are even hands-on on technical development, etc. So this incubation phase lasts something like 9 months to 12 months. And starting the 6 months, 8 months, it depends on the project maturity. Then we start by trying to build a team. The team can be people that have brought the idea, but it can also be, and it's usually the case, we are looking for what we call porteur. Porteur is someone that is going to be the CTO, someone that is going to be the CEO. And we usually try to find these people to build the team, because sometimes it can happen that the idea comes from an already entrepreneur that has an idea in his business area that want to co-incubate an idea. But then the startup itself that will be built will just be run by a team of motivated people. So yes, of course, we are looking for people for talent that want to join and become entrepreneurs, even if they were not initially at the origin of the initial idea.
And if I can
thanks for the answer.
Add something.
Right. Sorry.
When this is the case, when we are looking for people, we also put it on our website. So sometimes I know right now we don't have any offer, but I think soon we will have offer to say, okay, we have an idea, we have thought about it, and we are looking for people who could run the startup, and then we will publish offers. So I think you should just try to check sometimes the website so you don't miss any offer, but it can happen, of course.
And I think that any incubators are looking for talents, because a lot of startups are created by technical profiles. For example, at Tarmac, we have a lot of researchers, engineers, developers, and they have a lot of technical expertise, but we need some other expertise, some in management, in financial, in business, in sales. And so I think that everyone is looking for talent to join and to complete the team.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Of course, yes. So something that is really important, and that we think, I think all incubators think this, the team is really important. I mean, you can have the best idea in the world. I mean, you take several teams, different teams, they will execute completely differently on the project. So the idea is not, I mean, for me, the idea is not something like a secret or something like this, because with one idea, you can do it good or bad or in the middle. And so the team is really, really important. And so that's why, as Claire mentioned, we are all looking for talented people. And it's not an issue if you were not at the origin of the initial idea. Let's say it's even not at all an issue.
Okay. My second question to Moonshot Lab was actually, I didn't see it in your presentation, but do you have also acceleration program, or do you take in charge of the phases, just after the incubation or the commercial phases, or is it something you want to develop afterwards? I don't know, I was wondering.
Okay, so basically we have an accelerator program that helps established companies to act as if they were in startup mode. Sometimes established companies, they have issues to bring new innovations on the table because they are quite large. It's more difficult to make some decisions to be as quick as some startups. So basically we bring this ecosystem and this philosophy to established companies to run new projects and find new innovations. So it's not startups. Sometimes they could decide to create a new startup, but sometimes it's just internal projects, and we are here to help them through the accelerator. That's for one part. But the other one is that when we have done the incubation process, the company is then created and have the first employees, etc. And as a service, we helped those companies and proposed to say, okay, we can continue with you, but more as a service company rather than as incubation company. And so the project, after in the run phase, when the startup has already started, we can help with the accelerator. So it means that the resources that we use internally for the incubation can also be available in the future, but with another mode. And the other mode is service. And usually